is that the organization's lowermost strata, when the organization's lowermost strata, by lowermost strata I mean at the entry level, becomes answerable, accountable, dreams, and think of its eventual goal, that is when the organization achieves a perpetual motion of long-term success model. That is when it becomes a family. You talk about the Boston Red Sox, you talk about Manchester United, you talk about Real Madrid. They were all great teams, but they had a system which was imbibed from the manager to the bottom person who is serving the drinks. That is how you create successful organizations. Now, in running for success, sometimes we forget that why are we getting successful? I have folks from the US, and one of my favorite sport is basketball, primarily because of a person named Michael Jordan. The Chicago Bulls won, I think they were formed in 1966, or I don't remember the year in which they were formed. They have won a total of 6 NBA championships. And in all these 6 years, the most valuable player was Michael Jordan. 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, Jordan left because he was bored of basketball. He returned back. The next 3 years they again won. Either side of Jordan, Chicago Bulls did not win a single championship. What happens with successful teams? When any team or organization becomes one-man dependent and they start achieving success, if the management does not realize that this one man will one day eventually go away, perhaps if a team is composed of 6 people and the success of the team depends on a person who is 59-year-old. When he comes to the 60th year, this person goes. What is the replaceable value of that person? Is there a replaceable value? Michael Jordan's replaceable value was not found. Chicago Bulls haven't done anything since. I think they're going to the finals this year. Organizations must look at this aspect. Replaceable value, replaceable index, this is a term that I have coined rather. So people can find out how do you see, we call it succession planning, but what I'm trying to say here is that short teams, micro teams, if they are successful because of a particular person, always see that what happens if this person goes away. That's when you speculate, and that's when you think for the future, and that's when you think sustainability. A very contrasting example of Chicago Bulls would be Manchester United. 1986, Alex Ferguson took over. If folks have seen this movie, Chak De India, there's a dialogue by Shah Rukh Khan which says, "Is team mein ek hi gunda hai," which is Shah Rukh Khan himself. The whole point of this debate is that Alex Ferguson has made a team which is not dependent on an Eric Cantona, which is not dependent on a David Beckham, which is not dependent on a Ryan Giggs or a Cristiano Ronaldo. Alex Ferguson has institutionalized Manchester United. Even after he goes away, this whole institution will run with the same amount, perhaps the same amount of success, because he has made it ingrained in the team. An institution should not be dependent on a particular individual, because once the individual goes away, what happens? That is what happened to Argentina. After Maradona, nothing. India in the 90s could not win matches because it was entirely dependent on Tendulkar. The difference of the Indian cricket team has been the evolution of players who can support Tendulkar. That is when teams work, that is when organizations work. Now, a very important instrument of success is often attributed to talent. Now, talent is something that we're born with. So I can calculate the numbers probably in 40 seconds. Somebody might do it in 20 seconds, somebody might do it in 2 minutes. That's a natural ability, natural inherent ability. What you can acquire is skill, and I define success. This is perhaps most important parameter is excellence, which is a multiplication of talent into skill. Skill is something which you can acquire by practice. Skill is something which you can acquire by labor, hard labor. Skill which is something which we can acquire by not giving up. If anyone remembers the 1992 Olympics, one of the most touching scenes was an American athlete known as Derek Redmond. The poor chap could not finish the 400 meters. However, he missed out on the previous Olympics. This year, after 150 meters, his hamstring tore down. His dad came down from the stands, broke the security, went on with him to finish the race. This is sport, this is dedication, this is life. So I was talking about talent and skill. If you say the product of talent and skill is 27, and 27 is the score which is required for success, for some people talent will be 9, determination, hard work, whatever will be 3. For the other group, talent will be 3, hard work will be 9. Eventually they end up 27. That's how most of us are. However, we can make it 9 into 9. Obviously, those who are talented enough are born with that amount of talent. 9 into 9 is 81, and that is how you have your Michael Jordan, your Michael Phelps, your Roger Federer, Sachin Tendulkar, Sergei Bubka, who always wants to raise the bar. A 30-year-old Roger Federer took the former coach of Pete Sampras, Paul Anacon, as a coach because he wanted to improve his bowling skills and his net game. After winning 16 Grand Slams, he could have retired. After 2 years, he ended up winning Wimbledon last year. April 24, Sachin Tendulkar would turn 40. Even now, he is the first person to come to nets for practice. He is the last person to go out of nets to practice. This is determination. This is 9 into 9, 81. And that is how you create heroes. And that is when you respect people. The moment a player wants or an employee wants to innovate, that's when you feel that yes, this person is really into the system. And when this person is into the system, he will be a part of your family. He will talk we. Let's do. He'll show passion. One very important aspect, I used to play a lot of sports, and one of the reason I have played carom at the institute national level. The reason I'm a decent carom player is my mom. When I used to play badly, she used to encourage me. I know in today's competitive environment, any performer, anybody who starts at the career is not allowed mistakes. But I think every manager should give some amount of flexibility to a new entrant so that he learns the system. Sometimes when you talk too much about the end, it kind of creates a chokingness in the system. अगर ये नहीं हुआ तो अगर ये numbers नहीं reach किया तो कुछ नहीं होगा. Sometimes the process also needs to be looked into, because that is what creates sustainability. I understand that from a business perspective, end is important. However, from a sustainability perspective, from a learning perspective, from a sharing perspective, the means is important, because even if you make some mistakes, you'll know why you have made these mistakes and you'll not repeat them. I'll take 7 more minutes. We always have a conception, I'll say rather a misconception, that a person who is working in the pharmaceutical industry cannot head an IT organization or cannot manage people in an IT organization. if a person knows how to manage people, how to work with people in a pharmaceutical organization, he can work with people in an IT organization. He just needs to understand the dynamics of the IT business. Perhaps one of the best examples from Indian sport to highlight this would be a gentleman named Manindra Datta Rai from Calcutta. He was the head of the All India Football Federation.